Alright, hey guys, so I'm gonna put two episodes in one, because I've had two friends ask me to do two topics, and, so we're gonna go through, my life story, my complete life story, and at the end of it, I'm gonna end it on, a good note. So that's always gonna be good. It's gonna be a difficult process for me. This is my first time really doing this. And so there's gonna be tears, let's be honest. I'm not the strongest person anymore like I used to be. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over through the life story and end on good terms with my hopes and my dreams. And what I want the outcome of my whole life to be. Hope you're ready for the journey. Alright, so let me get a piece of paper real quick and a pen, and we're going to do this together. Ow, ow. God damn it, it makes a mess. My significant other decided he was going to make a mess. And with me being disabled and hardly being able to walk through this, luckily there are things where I can hold on to. So when my significant other gets back, he's going to have to... Alright, we're going to go through... Okay, so I started my timeline when I first started group. And it's kind of a mess. Okay? But we're going to go through this. And we're going to go and things may have to be added. We'll do it together, okay? Alright, so we're going to start off at my birth, okay? So my birth, I was born in 93. December 17th, okay, at 8:57 p.m. Crazy. Now, I'm lucky to be alive from even being born. I can't think of the right terms, but I was, when I was coming out of my mother, as she was pushing, I was feces. So I was pooping, coming out of her, which is very bad for a baby. If I breathed it in, they had to hurry and make sure that if I breathed it in, because I could have killed myself that way. So right off the bat, I was starting to be suicidal. I thought that was a funny joke. Sorry, not sorry, but all right. So so birth is when I first started, like. I was hard. My mom said I had a lot of, like I didn't sleep very well, because I had colic. So I had health issues from the beginning. So we're gonna go about the times I remember. So about 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock. By age 4, 3 or 4, my dad had his first open heart surgery. That was the scariest thing ever for me. I remember him wearing this dark mask. He looked like Darth Vader. And I've never seen Darth Vader or any of the Star Wars. But the way my mom can describe it to me is that's how it looked. And my sister even got more scared. She actually was a daddy's girl and ended up not being a daddy's girl anymore after that. Because she was so deathly afraid of him because of it. But that was like the first time I saw my dad actually like vulnerable and scared. By age 5, my mom and dad, hold on. Okay, so like, so by age 5-ish, my dad and my mom would, fight over me. That was like the first time my dad ever like slapped me in the face really hard. And it was over something so minute. By age 6, my dad's behavior started getting worse. My dad blocked my mom in where we couldn't even leave the house. By by 7 and 8, within months of each other, my grandfather and my uncle died, and I actually found my grandpa with my cousin, and then about 11 months to the day, my uncle killed himself, and that was 3 days before Christmas, which is 5 days after my birthday. By age 12, my parents are splitting up. Things just started getting worse, and they were back and forth a lot. By 14, I got raped, pregnant, and started drugs, and my ex used to beat me. And then by age 15, stalked. I had my abortion, and then I was acting out. So then by that time, I started doing the drugs. I jumped out of a car going 40 miles an hour. 16, started taking even worse drugs. At first, it was just, marijuana, which isn't really a drug to me. And then my suicide attempts started happening. And I also was running away and doing all that. And I was getting kicked out, and I saw somebody die for the first time in front of my eyes. Because my friend ended up having to save my life, and he ended up killing him to save my life. That was crazy. By 17, I finally got clean. I was only clean for 2 months. And I was hospitalized, and I was going back and forth in between my mom's house and getting kicked out and running away at the same time. By age 18, I went to rehab with my first outpatient. So 17 was the inpatient. 19, I got married, cheated on, kicked out, which that was hard, because of my ex-husband being who he was. 20 is when we found out that my dad had cancer, or 20 or 19, one of the two. And then that was the first time that my dad tried to have me killed, professionally killed, as a hitman, come to kill me. And that's when he also, towards that time, he got diagnosed with cancer. So by 21, my dad, he ended up having cancer again. It came back after remission. And then homelessness happened again. So, and then my dad died. 22 is when I started doing worse drugs. They started coming back. I started 21 and 22. And it just got worse from there. Suicide started doing worse. Homeless on and off it still. Age 23, I saw somebody get hit by a train. I was not cool. My significant other thought that was amazing. But no, it really traumatized me. I grew up with trains because my dad used to work on them. So I used to be able to go and ride on them and stuff. And now I can't even go on them. I don't even like to hear the honking or whatever you want to call it. And everything. It just really tore me. I understand people want to take their own life or whatever, but you don't take your own life in front of people like that. You don't traumatize them while you're doing it. And that's how I feel about that. Age 24, I kind of started figuring out what is wrong with me, with my mental health and such. Getting on and off of drugs, so I've been doing a lot better about that. Next month, I'll be 25. So that's my life, my timeline. I mean, I've also had a miscarriage this year, and such, and, so now we're going to talk about, the hopes and dreams, okay? Enough of this happy shit. Okay. So, what we're going to talk about is my hopes and dreams. My hopes and dreams are to be a mother, of course. I've wanted to be a mother since I was 14, since I lost my kid. So that's, and I never really wanted that young motherhood before, but now I do. My other thing is I don't want to be infamous anymore. I want to be famous, but even if the famous aspect never gets there, as long as I can be a role model or icon or something that actually contributes in life for a better cause, that's how I feel about that. And to travel the world and be with the person I love, that I'm with right now, because he and I have been through so much that I just don't want to have this ended on anything bad, and I actually really don't want to end this, and I don't want it to be ended at all. It's like you don't go through hell with somebody just to end it, right? You work through it. That's how I've always been raised. And so, and then I also want to figure out how to travel the world, whether that's, you know, with a little one or not with a little one. I would love to do it with a baby, because I want them, or a child, or, you know, because I want them to be able to get the cultures too, because I never got to do that as a kid, and I want my child to be more diverse, and knowledgeable. I want my kid to have everything that I never had. Whether that means I have to sell my soul to the devil or not, I would do it for them. Because I believe my kid should get everything and beyond. I'm not saying, like, you know, spoil them where they, you know, act out. I'm saying I want them to never feel the hardships I've had to feel, because I never want them to feel the way I feel. That is my hope, that I can end up doing that, even if it's not for me, for somebody else. I mean, I would love for everybody to be great. I don't ever wish anybody really ill. I mean, there's some people, you know, those people that do you the most dirtiest, that you're like, oh yeah, I really hope something happens. But I never wish the most worst thing on them. So, I really just, hope one day I can get out of Washington. That's all. And I hope I can actually do this somewhat soberly. By that I mean I still smoke weed, guys. I mean, I do it for medical too. It's not just recreational for me. And then like I never want to be able to touch the harder drugs again. I don't want to feel like how I felt through one of those videos that I did, which was 2 videos ago. But I also want to be able to live my life fully. And I know a lot of that is hard, because I do also love drugs, and I know I'm not gratifying it or anything, but so, like, the love of drugs but wanting to be sober and have all these hopes and dreams. I can't have both, and it sucks. And sorry, distractions. That would be my significant other in the back. That kind of puts a pickle in things, because a lot of the times I am, like we went through before, of experiencing life, through the tear grief thing, about one episode ago. Experiencing life for me is through the drugs, and so that's hard, especially having to do this sober, because I can't have either. I can only have one or the other. And this one, with the kid and all this, feels more heavier than this one with the drugs. And I'm being serious, like literally my arm feels heavier on this side as I'm telling you this. So, I mean, it's all what we interpret, and what I have to interpret is, for myself, is I can't do drugs and have what I want. So having to do this sober is going to be a challenge, but it's also going to be a really fun challenge to do, because I love proving people wrong. Like, proving people wrong is like my go-to. That has always been my thing. Like, I had one of my bosses tell me I will never be a manager one time. And at my first go around, no, I was not. My second go around, I went as hard as I could to make sure I twisted until I got what I needed, and that was to be a manager. So, I mean, I've always been where I'm going to try to prove you wrong on everything. I got called a liar before, and I'm finally to the point where I don't want to be known as that. So, especially now that I'm not using, I really don't want to be known as that. So I've been telling the truth about everything, and even if they say, hey, you're a liar, blah blah blah, I know what it is now. So proving people wrong is always fun. And I guess the one thing I'm having trouble with is proving people wrong that I can be a good mother, or even be a mom at all. So my hopes and dreams are to be a mom, so I can prove them wrong. Even though that's not technically the true thing of what I want, I also want it because there's a hole in my heart. So I love you guys. I hope that helps. I hope you guys feel closer to me. And I would love to know what you guys would love for the next video after I post this on Sunday. So please leave comments, watch the whole video, and enjoy yourselves.